Well, hi. Today is Thursday, May 1st, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee, and this is also the kickoff day for the Council Bluffs Farmers Market. You'll find all the vendors lined up on First Avenue, just on the north side of Bayless Park. Lots of activities going on in the park. There will be a petting zoo in the park tonight, and also activities for the kids. They'll be making May Day baskets. Visit all of the vendors. Stop by and say hi at our booth. We're going to be going live on Facebook at around 4:15 this afternoon, and then the farmers market gets underway at 4:30. Don't forget, if you stop by early at the farmers market in Council Bluffs, their vendors aren't allowed to start selling until 4:30. So take a look, see what you like, but then you have to come back and get your items that you want to purchase right at 4:30. Coming up today, we've got a busy show today, by the way. We have a couple of guests. One is the athletic director at Thomas Jefferson High School in Council Bluffs, Luke Peterson, joining us. Lots of things going on at Thomas Jefferson, and also lots of progress being made. They have more and more young people being involved in extracurricular activities, and it's lots of exciting things. And plus, little birdie told me that Luke and some other folks there started a podcast. We're going to talk to him about that too. And we're going to make a trip to the south and to the east, all the way to Corning, where we speak with Dee Heaton today. Dee is the executive director of the Corning Opera House. And we're going to learn more about that. And that's some shows coming up there, too. Some country shows that they've got some artists coming up from Nashville. So very, very cool venue. And that is on today's show. If you need precision metal fabrication done right, look no further than Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs. Custom welding, large-scale manufacturing, bringing your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. Do you need signs? Do you need cups? All types of laser etching. Could be on slate for coasters, could be on glass, could be just business cards. All types of things done there at Foxco Fabrication. So go to foxcofab.com. Take a look at some of the things that they do, and you can place your order right there as well. You know that navigating the healthcare system can be challenging, frustrating, and time-consuming for you and your family. That's where My Nurse Healthcare in Council Bluffs steps in. Nurse advocates provide one-on-one guidance and support every step of the way. With a dedicated nurse by your side, you'll get the right care from the right provider at the right time. Visit mynursehealthcare.com, or you can give them a call at 402-250-8465. Let My Nurse Healthcare take the stress out of healthcare. Do you have a leak, a clogged drain, or maybe you're planning a big remodel? Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. With fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. Waldstein Plumbing is locally owned, and they take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, call Waldstein Plumbing. Visit them online at waldsteinplumbing.com. Joining us this morning, it is Luke Peterson, the athletic director at TJ High School. Good morning, sir. Glad that you took a little bit of time. I don't know how you did take the time. You got so much going on over there.
Well, yeah, Todd, it's the busy time of year. I mean, my year is pretty busy all year round, but in this springtime and this April and May, it's a little dicey. You got weather reports that never pan out. And, those weather guys, they send us on trips sometimes, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's just guesswork in a suit, right? Is that?
Yep, for sure.
That's kind of just how it goes. But at the same time, we're happy they're there. And
so
let's see, you've got track, you've got tennis, you've got golf,
soccer.
Soccer's going on right now.
Yep.
And in the meantime, you probably have some practicing already for baseball, or is that even?
Yeah. That's started up. It's going, and even before that, we had a practices indoor at a new facility, the Innovation and Sports Complex up in Crescent. That was the old Crescent Elementary School. So that's been happening. We just had a story done about that on TV the other night, which was great, with Kendall Bell, our state champion bowler and 3-sport athlete, golf, baseball, and bowling. Sorry. Yeah.
There you go.
And it's just a great time of the year. I mean, the spring is great. We love it, but it's so packed. And taking into account all of that, I'm also one of the assistant principals at the school. So you've got all the end of the year senior award nights and all the other things going on. National Honor Society, college signing day is tomorrow at the school. There's a lot going on at TJ. I mean, we keep a lot of things going, and our kids are really involved, and the culture is growing and building every day, and we love it. So
I know when you first came on, and that was a big thing with you, is you wanted to put some pride into those young people that are there, and it's working.
It is working. I mean, you can't hide our pride. You know, that's our motto, and we still have stingers up, and that works out well too. It's good, and kids do it, and we're having now, like Friday, we have 8th graders from Wilson. They come in and they have like a day where they come around, they go to tables with coaches for activities and things, take a tour of the building so they kind of know where they're going. And we've started with them. Now those kids, a lot of them, I've met a lot of them on the elementary tour that I do for homecoming every year. So they've known me for a couple of years now, which is great. And as we go, the more that we are, entering that 4th year where all 5 of our administrators have been there, and we're all still there, and we're going to be there next year. It's great. It's building momentum and getting those connections with kids and getting our programs out there and getting that pride that everybody can see it.
Yeah, there's 2 things going on here. One, obviously, is gaining interest and awareness in the younger grades. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's the upperclassmen who understand that they've got a role to serve too. Yep. That even past high school, they are, that's when the younger people are going to come up. So they're serving as role models, and all of that works together in order to be able to grow that culture.
It does. And we've had, some pretty good success over the last couple of years. Really, one big one to highlight would be last year, our boys basketball team that won 18 games. And several of those guys have stuck around town. They're playing for Iowa Western. And actually one just signed a year later. He went back to it and got in there. So we've got 3 players from our school that'll be on the Iowa Western team, and that's great locally so that our players and kids now, even elementary kids, can see that. And it's like, you've got an opportunity here. You've got a chance here to do something that you love, but also obviously furthering your education and hopefully strengthening your future. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what we're here for. So.
Where's your participation at? I mean, are the teams all filled out, and you got
our participation, our numbers across the board, not just in sports like interscholastic sports, but also activities in the building. Our district goal and kind of school goal is 75% of our kids need to be involved in at least one thing after school. That's what the goal is, and we hover right around. I think this year when we're going through, we're right around 73 or 74%, but that number has gone up from the 60s since we got there. So I'm really working on that to get kids involved to the point that when they look at it, when they come to school, they realize that's actually part of their school day. That's something that's important. It helps build those connections, not only with their peers, but also with coaches, with teachers. Obviously, there's been a lot of research that has shown over the years that being involved in those activities also helps with their grades and their academics, because they're held to a little bit more of a standard. I don't want to say a higher standard, but a little more, because there's eligibility every week. If they're not holding their end of the bargain as a student athlete, they're going to sit out for a little bit until we get their grades back up. So that's important for us to do that so that students understand that they're a student first, athlete second.
I also wanted to talk to you today, Luke, about you're kind of dipping your toe into my pool of water here.
A little bit.
Yeah, you've got a podcast going. Tell me about it.
We do, and it's really fun, and it really just kind of morphed itself out of just conversations that we have at work. And there's 3 of us, myself and Chuck and John, and they both work at the school full time. And John's an assistant principal, and Chuck is our operations manager. And we're forever in the morning, before work or during the lunch duty, and we're out in the commons with kids and everything. And at one point, John was a big listener of podcasts, and Chuck was too. I did some, and not quite as involved as they was. I was kind of newer to it. We should make a podcast out of this. We threw around the idea, and then all of a sudden Chuck had ordered some microphones and some headphones, and we tried it, and we're 14 episodes in, and I think we've got, 1,100, 1,200 downloads now. So it's neat. It's really fun to, not just hang around with the guys and talk with them. It's called the Half Century Hangout, and it's that way because we're obviously all over 50 years old, the 3 of us. That's where we came up with it. But the idea is that it's just a forum for us to talk about some things that people might be interested in. Our topics are not straight out, like we talk about anything. We talked about dire wolf the other day. Before that, it was relationships. Before that, it was participation trophies. I mean, we go all over the place. So it's fun to do it. We've had a lot of good feedback from people, both locally and across. I mean, I think it's kind of humbling to me, and I know you've probably been through this before, but it's humbling to me because 16 countries, like somebody has tuned in. And I'm, what? We're here in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and somebody in Zimbabwe is, I'm like, I don't know how all that works, but they find us on Buzzsprout or wherever they find their podcasts, and they try, and our numbers have been growing. So it's fun to do it, and we like to put our opinions out there to do it, and we disagree on some things, the three of us, which is kind of why we're there, but we like to bring forth the idea, and it's interesting to do it, and some of the students have heard it too, and it's student friendly, our podcast, and it's nice to allow that lesson to kind of come through our podcast, that you can disagree on something, but you can still remain civil about it, and you can have a good conversation as adults about something, even if you disagree about it. It doesn't have to turn into an arguing match or a fight or something else. So that's something that we really wanted to do, and I think we've done a pretty good job of doing that.
You know, you're going to crash the entire social media business model by actually having disagreements and not hating each other. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
Possibly be
100%. And actually, it's funny because some of the feedback was like that. There was a few times where people have commented and said, I thought that Luke was going to go off the deep end there for a minute, but we really don't. I mean, there's moments where, like we'll talk about some things before that we actually record the episode, but a lot of times we'll kind of hold back our differences until the actual recording so that it's not kind of in the moment. It's the joy of live recording, right? I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen. I might know sometimes what Chuck is going to say, but maybe not. Maybe he'll say something that I didn't know was coming. So, that makes it fun, I think, and I think it makes it interesting, and I think it makes it a little more real too as we do it. So.
Yes, and we could do probably an hour just on the subject of podcasting, because I talk about it every day.
Sure.
And one of the things that I have said on this show, I have said to just about any client that I've ever had, is the first one you do will be the worst one you do, and you have to be okay with that. It's all right. Yep. And also being willing to suck for a while. That's all right too.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those mediums that I don't know of any way to get better at it than to do it. That's it.
I would agree. I mean, and only going by what my experience is, and obviously listening to you on yours and hearing the things, and I've learned some things from you over the few years that we've known each other, and I think that that's true, and I think that the three of us, as we go through that podcast, have to remind each other of that. Like, we'll get done with an episode, and then we'll put it out, and I'll be like, I don't know if that was our best episode, but we learn from it and we move on and we say, okay, how could we have made that better? Well, we could do X, Y, Z, whatever that happens to be. And I think that's been a real growth experience for us. But again, I think that is the message that we're trying to get across, is that, you know what? You can make mistakes. I mean, kids can make mistakes. You could fail a test in a class. You could do something, but it's not the end of the world. You can continue to work hard. Put your gloves on and get back to work, and if it's something that you really want to accomplish, you can do it. You just need to put the work in to do it.
Yeah. It's just like with anything else. You only fail when you quit,
I mean, that's the world, obviously, of athletics and everything else is, you just got to put your nose down. You got to do it. Right.
Yeah, no, exactly. So with everything that's going on and all of the success that you're seeing at the school, do you ever sit down and you make goals for what's coming up for the next school year or things like that? Is that something that you start working on at this point?
Yeah, and it is, and I think for me it always is the guiding light, if you want to say, is always about more participation from our kids, and I'd like it to get to 100%. I mean, really, I don't want to miss anybody, and I think that's always the number one thing for me. That we're always open to having new activities, having new clubs, starting new things that, as the world changes, right, there's more interests in different things. So I know that we've talked about branching out our sports broadcasting programs and getting those a little bigger. We've talked about some things with that, because right now it's been based a lot on graphic content. It's been based a lot on, cameras and moving things and doing stuff like that, but really taking it to the next level of the actual broadcasting part, which I think is great. And I think it's something that we have kids that would be really, really, first of all, very good at it. But second of all, it opens up. We want to make sure that our kids find something that they could latch onto, more so than just in a classroom, but outside of their class time. Because a lot of those opportunities are things that, as you and I both know, lead themselves to something later in life, and I think that that's important for kids to have that glimpse into the future. If you say, like, hey, this is something that I might do later in life that they might not be thinking about now. I know in high school I wasn't thinking about it. So it's like I was probably a little tunnel vision with some things. Right. But I think that today there's so many things that inundate these kids from social media and everything else. I'd like to get the answer that they don't always just want to be an influencer. I want to say, hey, I want to do this, or I want to do this. And I think that we've implemented some things, and we're going to continue to grow those to the point that, we can really reach every kid in the school somehow. I mean, that's always the biggest thing, is that, but it's always just getting our kids, providing them with a great experience. Like, for instance, in robotics this last year, our students had the opportunity to go to Shanghai. I mean, I've never been to Shanghai, but they went to Shanghai for a robotics tournament, which we found donors to help with that, which was great because, I mean, what an opportunity for a group of kids to go. So they went to Shanghai, and the stories that they told about things and what they learned, not just about robotics, but just life. I mean, it was phenomenal. And those are the kind of things that, if we can provide those for students, those are always things that I want to add to our programs as we go.
I think also with what you're talking about and being able to get kids on a trip like that, and there's other examples as well, that's a testament to the community that we live in.
100%.
This community that we're in will pull together and wants to support young people, and you will find businesses that are willing to give to that because they understand that that's the future of where we're at. And there's so many different programs. I had a conversation with somebody earlier today about this, that getting young people not just trained, but interested, and then understanding that there's opportunities right here, that, they don't have to move away, that they can stay right here and continue on. And that's what creates a thriving and growing community. And so I did not know about the Shanghai trip, and that's really encouraging.
And I can tell you that, I mean, we have so many great businesses and people that have donated, and not only just, funds wise, money wise for our school, but just time and energy that they've given to us, to help, again, those programs develop for those kids. And I think you hit on something really important there, that, they have to understand that they don't have to move away. They can do it here. There's a plenty of opportunities for them to do things here. And the more that we can convince them of that, I think their comfort level with it grows and it gets better, because, for some kids, moving away, maybe it isn't an option for various reasons. Maybe they just don't want to. Maybe they don't want to move away from family, whatever that would happen to be. We want to be able to say, hey, just because you've chosen, or you're going to make the choice that you want to stay near home, doesn't mean that you're not having the same opportunities. And I think that our community really, really does a great job of trying to support those programs that we have. And I think that without them, we couldn't do a lot of the stuff that we do. I mean, we would be powerless without it. So to those people, we always say thanks and try to make sure we give them as much recognition as we can, just because, I mean, they do phenomenal work for us.
Before we wrap things up here, Luke, back to your podcast. Where can people find it? We gotta give it some plugs.
They can find it on wherever they usually find their podcasts. iHeartRadio, on Buzzsprout. We have a Facebook page. We're on X. We're everywhere. People have got it on Apple Music. I mean, they find it. I don't know what they have in Zimbabwe, but they found it there. So I know it's easy to find. They can. And as far as I know, on the technology side, it is anywhere you normally get your podcast from. We're there. So,
and that's
Half Century Hangout.
Half Century Hangout, just strictly an audio podcast?
It's strictly audio. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Well, one day we'll sit down and we'll talk about the benefits of video, and I'll
Yeah,
explain to you why you need to
can't
switch over
wait.
and start doing that. But
Can't wait.
things get altogether different then, and the files get really big.
Yeah, that's what
You know,
always looking for that, because again, it's what we teach the kids and what we do, and we're just trying to live by example, that we grow as we grow and we learn, and you try new things, and if you fail at it, you try again, and you try something else, and so we've really tried to do that. But I've always appreciated your support and everything that you've done for Thomas Jefferson High School over the years. We really appreciate it, and we always want to keep that going. So we really do appreciate it, everything you've done for us, Todd.
and it's my pleasure, and I appreciate everything that I get back from you and from the school system. It's been wonderful. He's the athletic director, Luke Peterson, at Thomas Jefferson High School in Council Bluffs. Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thank you.
your time, and looking forward to the next time.
All right, I'm going to go check the weather forecast and see what I got to move next.
Still coming up on the show, we are going to travel down to Corning to visit with Dee Heaton, executive director of the Corning Opera House, learn about what's going on there, some of the shows, and just a little bit of the history of the Corning Opera House. Got connected with our old buddy, Vivian Kavam from Tandem Works. She said, you should give Dee a call and see if she'd like to be on the show. She did, and I'm very happy, and that is coming up very, very shortly. In the meantime, Service Master Restore by Schmader knows it can be hard to get back to normal when you suffered serious property damage due to flooding, fire, or smoke. You may also be left with all sorts of questions about how to get your home or business back to normal. Service Master Restore by Schmader will restore your space by offering quality commercial and residential restoration services in Council Bluffs and the surrounding area. That's Service Master Restore by Schmader. A big thank you to Bryce Taylor with GLI Insurance Group, a locally and family-owned independent insurance group that has been helping people find the best possible plan for them for over a decade. Bryce is the sponsor of our restaurant reviews that we do here on Morning Coffee, and we've got another one coming up very, very soon. And as I've been mentioning, I'm trying to arrange this so we can go out for breakfast. So many great breakfast places around, and I want to head on out and do one of those. And Bryce is also the founder of the Facebook group Council Bluffs Food Lovers. That list is growing. They're approaching 12,000 followers on there. So if you're not following them and a member of the Council Bluffs Food Lovers group, probably should be. You find that on Facebook. And S&B Country Kennel has become the top spot in Southwest Iowa when you need to know your dog will receive only the best. Boarding, daycare, grooming, self-washing, training, and even a membership available to a dog park that's over an acre in size. If your dog could talk, he'd thank you. And who knows, he may start talking after that just to say thank you. S&B Country Kennel also has rescue dogs, so check them out about adoption possibilities. S&B Country Kennel, located just west of I-29 on Bunkie Avenue, south of Council Bluffs. Joining us now this morning, it is Dee Heaton. She is the executive director of the Corning Opera House. Thank you so much, Dee, for your time. And isn't technology wonderful? You're all the way in Corning. I'm in Council Bluffs, and we can actually have a conversation and see each other at the same time.
It is amazing. And thank you for having me. And I want to thank Vivian from Tandem Works for connecting us. So thanks.
Yeah, that was, I got that email from Vivian, and she said, hey, you should talk with Dee Heaton down there in Corning. And she was explaining to me what was going on. I said, you know what? Yes, definitely. Because the Corning Opera House, for folks in Corning, they know about you. But if you start to get a little bit farther out, such as, because we're not exactly neighbors, we've got a little distance between us. People don't know about it. But I also know that folks in our area here love day trips. And what better place to go than to Corning and being able to take in a little history like the Corning Opera House?
Exactly. Corning has a lot to offer.
Tell me about the Opera House. What you've been there for a while, so put your best foot forward. Tell us about what it is and why it's so important to the community.
We restored and opened in 2012, and it's a great community center. It's a great place to bring people together, have communications, make friends, bring joy to people through lots of things: weddings, meetings, funerals, concerts, plays, you name it.
So a lot of community events that you're hosting there, and maybe community theater. Does that get on your stage?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have a long time ago, when I was 22, it was about 5 years ago. I did some community theater. Yeah, exactly. I did some community theater. And so I still have a passion for it. So it's great that not only can it be done, but just in such a fabulous facility that you have there. And you also have events. I mean, do you have some specific coming up there at the Opera House?
We do. Friday, May 2nd. It's the first Friday of the month. So the first Friday, we have what we call First Friday Friends. It's at 1:00. Every time it's a first Friday. And this one, we have Critter Cass coming, and she's talking all about owls. She is a conservationist from Montgomery County, and she's going to bring a couple live owls with her and have an interactive program and talk about their nocturnal lifestyle and owls in Iowa. And then that evening, we have a country concert by a country singer called Chris Marino. He's an up-and-coming Nashville recording artist.
Oh, you're getting somebody all the way that's been recording in Nashville and coming to Corning. That's actually kind of cool. And also, I think it speaks volumes for your facility there that artists of that size want to come play there.
Yes. I would say probably 70% come from Nashville area, Branson performers. Yep.
How do people get tickets to events like that? Do they have to go through your website? Is there a different kind of box office? What do they do?
Our website has it on corningoperahouse.com. There are buttons that you can buy tickets. There's usually links on our Facebook page, on the event page, or you can call the office, or you can buy them at the door.
How about you, Dee? Where does your passion come from with this? Why is it that you have been at the Corning Opera House for as long as you have?
I have a master's in music education, and I taught for many years, mostly in Creston. And the arts seem to be getting cut all the time, the budget cuts back in the 2000s. And that was part of what was going on in Corning. And I could see that my classes were getting shortened. When I started teaching, I had 45 minutes. And when I ended, music classes were like 20 minutes. And so I thought this would be a great way to keep the arts alive and introduce youth to the music and arts and drama and keep it going.
How has the community responded to that? As you mentioned, with the young people, how are they staying involved?
Every June, we have a really successful youth musical. That's super exciting. Because of the size of our stage, we limit it to 40 students. In the past, they've come from about 13 different communities, different school districts, and it's a full-fledged program. We do lights and sound and costumes and props, and we do 15 rehearsals, and they memorize everything and choreography, and that is super exciting. And it's fun to have the kids come back every year and go, I'm finally home, and just walk in, and the joy on their face is super cool. We've done some classes. Chad Elliott is a artist and singer from Central Iowa, and he's done some songwriting classes and painting classes with us. We've done origami classes for the kids. So fun opportunities.
I was just speaking with somebody just a little bit ago about being from Southwest Iowa and the community nature that we seem to have in this entire region of the state. And Corning's part of that. And personally, I have a theory as to where that may have come from, because once upon a time, I used to be in radio, and I used to be on the air at KMA, which everybody in Southwest Iowa has heard of KMA. And they're actually celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. And I think they had a lot to do with it, because they were like what an old boss of mine used to call the 5,000 watt blowtorch. It was, everybody in Southwest Iowa was kind of tuned into that. And I think it developed a community feel for it. Again, that's a theory, but still, Southwest Iowa is special. And it's a little bit different than any other part of the state that I've been.
It is. And I thank you for the opportunity for your podcast to share that with other people. Sometimes Southwest Iowa gets forgotten on like grants and advertising when I've worked with Western Iowa tourism things. And so it's neat what you're doing to help Southwest Iowa.
Well, I'm very grateful for that as well. And yeah, we want to tell the stories, and we want to make sure that people are aware of everything that's going on. I mean, Corning Opera House has been around for quite a while, and there's a lot of folks that do know, but as we already mentioned, that maybe it's just not as high on the radar. So if someone wanted to come take a tour and take a look around, how would they do that?
Lots of them just drop in if they're downtown. We have a wonderful restaurant, Primrose, and kind of a meat market, fire and salt. So people come to town for those and they walk up and down the street. So they just drop in. And I'm happy to give tours to anybody that just walks by. You can also call and set up a tour. I've done from up to bus tours of 65 people, and those we can even arrange meals with. I've done school tours. Schools come and we spend a couple hours and we educate them on props and costumes and how to use a microphone and let them run the light board. So it's pretty educational that way.
I personally have not been inside of your facility. I'm imagining, though, that the acoustics in there are probably pretty darn good.
They knew what they were doing in 1902 when they built it. There's a lot of wood, and the ceiling is curved, and all of that put together makes for wonderful acoustics.
Yeah, it's being in the industry that I'm in is probably the reason why that type of thing appeals to me. Because believe it or not, there's some restaurants that I can't be in because the acoustics are so bad and because of the harshness of it. But when it's designed for what it is that you're saying, it is, to me, it's relaxing. It's almost soothing to be in a facility like that. And a person may be feeling good while they're in there, not even really know why. And I bet that's why.
It is.
Kind of thing.
It's fun to have a cappella groups. We've had like Tonic Sulfa perform.
Oh, really?
There. And, they come in with all their microphones and their lights and they balance it. But typically the last 2 or 3 songs of the night, they will take all that away because they're so excited to sing in the room without any microphones. And it's a really cool effect.
I would love to be able to hear that. I'm thinking of another place once upon a time that out at Red Rocks in Colorado, which is a natural amphitheater. And there wasn't a show going on that day. And there was somebody sitting all the way at the back of the stage with his guitar singing John Denver songs, just came and showed up. And you could hear him everywhere because of that. And it's the same kind of thing. When something is designed the way that the Corning Opera House is for audio, it creates a tone that you just don't get anywhere else. And it's, as I said, to me, it's soothing. And I'm going to get you on my calendar. I got to get down there and see a show and see that in that facility. Just, you sold me. So,
well, thanks. We got a Beach Boys coming up. We got a 80s group coming up. So.
How many seats does the facility have?
300.
Oh, you can get 300 in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good, I think, size, and it keeps it intimate while it's still at the same time able to serve a lot of people. So I think that's really well. What's the website again for people that want more information, want to get some tickets, just come down and pay you a visit? Where do they go?
CorningOperaHouse.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram with the same name.
Same name, just Corning Opera House. Excellent. She is Dee Heaton, the executive director of the Corning Opera House. Grateful for your time. I hope that you don't be a stranger. We'd love to get updates. Anytime you have something going on, let us know. We'll see what we can do to help spread the word. Sounds wonderful. Thank you. I told you it was a busy show today. Thanks to Dee Heaton and at the Corning Opera House. And also thank you, Luke Peterson, athletic director at Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson High School, for joining us today. I am headed over to the Council Bluffs Business Connection meeting that we have every Thursday. I've been mentioning that if your business would like to pay us a visit, we'd love to have you. Send me an email, toddstuder@gmail.com. And after visiting, if you think, this might be the right fit for me, and you'd like to talk about membership to the group, I'll get you in touch with our president, Blake Hunter, with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. And we'd love to have you visit. And I would love to be able to introduce you. So just send me that email, toddstuder@gmail.com. Farmers Market, 4:30 to 7:30 tonight in Council Bluffs, and all going along on First Avenue, just north of Bayless Park. Activities in the park for the kids tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. My name's Todd Studer. Have a great Thursday.